In the first season of our rebuild with Deportivo La Coruna, we won the championship in La Liga Hypermotion and secured promotion to the top tier in Spain. This achieved the first of the 4 goals we set with Deportivo. Promotion to La Liga. The remaining goals are avoiding relegation, qualifying for European football, and becoming La Liga champions. With promotion to La Liga, our transfer budget has increased significantly, though it's still quite modest by La Liga standards. We lost captain Lucas Perez, who retired after last season, and several key players are aging, meaning their abilities are declining rapidly. Therefore, we need to be creative with our signings, given the limited budget, and so far, we're doing quite well. Our first signing was Stefan Bajcetic from Liverpool for around 8.5 million. He can help Villares fill the void left by Lucas Perez. Moreover, Bajcetic is a promising young talent with high potential, capable of growing with us in La Liga. We also signed central defender Rav Vandenberg from Middlesbrough, along with the lightning-fast fullbacks Pedro Lima and Yaimar Medina, for a combined fee of about 13 million. These signings give our defense a significant boost and make it future-proof. Lastly, we brought in Julian Reichhoff as a backup striker behind our young Argentine Domina. Overall, we're entering the season with a much-improved squad, but with only our goalkeeper rated over 75 overall, it's going to be a serious challenge in such a competitive league. The magnitude of the challenge became evident halfway through the season, when, after 19 matches, we were just 2 points above the relegation zone. During the winter transfer window, we had our first opportunity to strengthen the squad. Athletic Bilbao made us an enormous offer of 24 million for David Mella, which we couldn't refuse. Mella has the quality to keep us in La Liga, but I haven't felt the right connection with him for a season and a half, so this offer came as a blessing. We also sold backup midfielder Charlie Patino, adding more funds to our budget. To replace Mella, we signed Tomasz Suslov for about 17 million from Hellas Verona. The young winger immediately felt like a great fit, and in the weeks following the winter transfer window, we began an incredible upward trajectory, pulling away from the relegation zone. After 29 matches, we're sitting comfortably in 11th place with 10 wins, 7 draws, and 12 losses. With 10 games remaining, we're about 10 points clear of the relegation zone, which is a significant gap at the bottom. The differences in the mid-table are small, so even a top 10 finish isn't out of reach, being just a few points away. However, we received bad news. Star player Yereme is no longer happy at the club, despite playing every match and being a key player. He wants to leave. We eventually reached an agreement with Napoli for a massive 40 million. This is a sum with which we can easily replace Yereme, but for now, he remains with us until the end of the season, and we need him to help secure our place in La Liga. With 4 matches remaining, we managed to secure another season of La Liga football. After all 38 games, we end up in a very respectable 11th place with an impressive 50 points, an incredible achievement, especially in the second half of the season. Atletico Madrid clinches the title this year. Finishing 11th also brings more good news. A massive prize money boost for the next season. We'll receive around 80 million as a reward for our success. The standout players this year were largely the same as last season. Domina scored an impressive 18 goals this season, making him invaluable in our fight for survival. Additionally, Villares, Yereme, and Mfulu were the key players the team relied on. Unfortunately, we'll be saying goodbye to Yereme next season, and Mfulu is starting to show signs of aging. And so, we achieve another one of our objectives: survival in La Liga. However, we need to strengthen the squad because we aim to grow and move upwards. Our first signing for Season 3 is central defender Coney de Winter, who we bring in for a whopping 17.7 million as our new defensive leader alongside Rav Vandenberg. The other big signing this summer is Duranville, who we acquire from Internazionale for 10 million to replace Yereme on the left wing. Additionally, we make 4 depth signings. Goalkeeper Leite is nearing the end of his career, and this seems to be his final season, so we bring in 24-year-old Belgian Lysen as a backup and potential successor for next season. We also lack depth in the number 10 position, so we sign young talent Ethan Nwaneri for 5 million. Knowing that Mfulu is getting older, we bring in a young replacement for him as well, Scottish midfielder Lennon Miller, also for 5 million. Finally, we strengthen our fullback positions with Alex Jimenez, who can play on both sides of defense and has the potential to make the starting 11, challenging Medina for his spot. With these signings, we start the season with a much improved squad compared to the beginning of Season 2. Back then, only our goalkeeper was rated above 75 overall, but now we have 3 players above 75 and a lot of young talents who are expected to grow significantly this year. This progress is reflected in the results of the early weeks. After 8 matches, we're sitting in a respectable 9th place, having only lost twice. The winter transfer window is quiet this season. We're not willing to let any players go because we're aiming to finish in the top 10. After 28 matches, we're still in a solid 9th place, and once again, the mid-table is tightly contested. The top 6 is only 1 point away, so qualifying for European football seems within reach. However, we need to get results against our direct competitors, which has been a challenge throughout the season. This year, though, we have a different team, and the players have developed as we hoped. Striker Domina, our first signing from Season 1, has grown to a 76 overall. Suslov, Bajcetic, and De Winter are the core of the team, rated 79 and 77 overall. Duranville and Villares are now 75 overall, and both Vandenberg and right-back Lima are developing steadily. Lima, in particular, is performing well above his 73 overall. With his speed and ability to win the ball, he's one of the most valued players in the squad and irreplaceable. After 34 matches, we dare to dream. We're in 7th place, with a Conference League spot just 1 point away. Even the Europa League and the final Champions League spot are within reach, only 4 points behind 4th-placed Sevilla. We surpass Leganés, and from 6th place, we face Sevilla in a crucial head-to-head match. This is our chance to get closer, but Sevilla proves to be too strong and we return home with a 4-0 defeat. The biggest problem is that Leganés has caught up again, and with 1 match left, we're now 1 point behind them in 7th, out of the running for European football. However, fate has a beautiful twist. Our final game of the season is against Leganés. It's also the last match in goalkeeper Leite's career, and we want to give him and this season a fitting end. The first half, though, is frustrating. Leganés seems to be playing for a draw and keeps possession without creating any chances of their own. They play at an incredibly slow pace for 45 minutes, holding the ball at the back. We managed just 1 chance, but Villares' shot is nowhere near the goal. Right after the break, Leganés seems to continue with the same plan, but we immediately catch them out. Bajcetic wins the ball in a vulnerable position for Leganés, and we head straight for goal. He plays it across to Domina, who fires us into the lead and, on paper, into Europe. Leganés has to come out now, and you know they'll always get 1 chance. After an hour, that chance comes when Rivas breaks through the heart of our defense and goes one-on-one with Leite. But Leite, in his farewell match, shows his class one last time and makes the save, preserving our lead. After that, we never lose control of the game and even create the best chances, though the 2-0 doesn't come. Nevertheless, we secure the victory, and the 6th place is safe after a head-to-head win against Leganés. A fantastic end to a great 3rd season with Deportivo. With this 6th place finish, we secure not only European football, which will be a great source of income, but also a hefty sum of money. From La Liga, we receive a whopping 112 million, which will allow us to make several key signings next season and be ready to make the leap towards the top. We now can also check another of our set goals off our list, with now only winning La Liga left. Something that won't be easy for sure, and so we embark on the 4th season with Deportivo, ready to take the step towards the top of Spanish football. However, after a strong season, there is a lot of interest in our star players, and we also want to strengthen in areas where we lack depth. This means we are back in the market for a left-back, and we signed the 24-year-old German Luca Netz for 22 million from Las Palmas. Netz immediately becomes one of the highest-rated players in the squad, making him a direct reinforcement while still being young enough to develop further. Additionally, we bring in Carlos Baleba for a whopping 18 million from Brighton. Mfulu is starting to decline towards a rating of 70, and this will continue throughout the season. Baleba is a similar player to Mfulu, but with many more years ahead of him. We also return to Brighton for their reserve goalkeeper, who becomes our new first-choice keeper, as we don't consider Lyson good enough for the starting role. Ewan Joen joins for 13 million. On the flip side, we say goodbye to some players. Both Julian Rykhoff and Lennon Miller failed to impress, and were often unhappy with their playing time. As a result, we decided to end their time at Deportivo. They leave for Cercle Bruges and Rayo Vallecano for 3 million and 10 million, respectively. However, we still want a replacement for Miller to add depth to the squad, and we find that in JD Canvo from Toulouse, a young player with great potential, who can also play as a center-back. We also have a new option for the number 10 position. Behind the scenes, we have heavily invested in our youth academy over the past seasons. After a 2-year loan spell, our homegrown talent Calderon is now ready to fight for his place in the first team. He's 19 years old, pretty fast, and has 5-star skill moves. As you can see, we've also switched to a 4-3-3 formation, with a focus on pressing higher and playing more attacking football. We kick off the season strongly with a victory away at Betis, led by the standout performance of Domina. First, he plays a beautiful through ball to Suslov, who calmly finishes for the equalizer, and shortly after, Domina scores the winning goal himself. What I didn't realize at the time was that this would be Duranville's last game for Deportivo. Newcastle United triggers his release clause, which we had agreed upon, and so we need to find a new left winger. With the remaining transfer budget and the income from Duranville's sale, we signed the young Turkish player Kenan Yildiz from Leicester City for $37 million. Despite the hefty price tag, he immediately becomes one of the top players in the squad, making him a valuable addition. I somehow missed how, but instead of playing in the Conference League as expected, we find ourselves in the Europa League this season, a great opportunity to restore the club's international reputation. We start the Europa League campaign very well, sitting in second place with 2 wins and 1 draw after 3 matches. In the 4th game, the stadium erupts as youth player Lopez scores the winning goal in the final minutes against Torino. We're also performing well in La Liga. After 12 matches, we are in an excellent 4th place, just 2 points behind 3rd-placed Villarreal. Competing for the title this season seems difficult, though, as Real Madrid and Barcelona are already more than 10 points ahead, and catching them doesn't seem realistic. In the winter transfer window, several teams show interest in our beloved right-back Pedro Lima. Because he has a release clause in his contract, we quickly offer him a contract extension to ensure we don't lose him this winter. We then qualify for the round of 16 in the Europa League and continue to perform well in La Liga. After 21 matches, we're still in 4th place, with our sights set on Atletico Madrid, who are just 3 points ahead. In the round of 16, we face Besiktas, a team that surprised us with a home defeat in the final group stage match. However, in the knockout phase, the Turks have nothing against us. We beat them 3-0 in their own stadium in the first leg and crushed them 7-1 in the return leg. With 10 matches left to play in La Liga, we've fallen a bit behind the top 3, and Girona has overtaken us, meaning we're now in 5th place, 2 points behind Girona. And this is where the bad news starts. In the victory over Villarreal, our captain Koni de Winter suffers a broken elbow, ruling him out for the rest of the season, which later proves to be a real problem in defense. We enter an incredibly tough period, playing top matches one after another without our injured captain. We face Aston Villa in the Europa League quarterfinals and concede a late goal from Osimhen to give away a home victory. Next, we host Real Madrid in La Liga, where we take a lead, only to see Mbappé equalize 10 minutes before the final whistle. The return leg against Aston Villa goes better. We managed to keep Osimhen in check this time and take an early lead through Suslov after 15 minutes. This time, we hold on to the lead, securing a place in the Europa League semifinals, a fantastic achievement for our first season back in European competition with Deportivo. Unfortunately, we drop further down in La Liga, now sitting in 6th place. Barcelona is our next opponent, and although we take the lead through our homegrown player Calderon, we cannot hold on against the mighty Barcelona. In the final moments, our new goalkeeper pulls off a stunning save to rescue a draw. But the grueling schedule continues. After facing Real Madrid and Barcelona, we now visit 3rd-placed Atletico Madrid. Once again, we take an early lead thanks to a world-class goal from Domina. But the pressure from Atletico is too much, and winger Jeremy Frimpong is a nightmare to defend against on ultimate difficulty. Just 5 minutes after our opener, he dribbles through our defense and sets up Alvarez for the equalizer. To make things worse, an hour into the game, Frimpong slices through our defense again and fires Atletico to victory. After this tough stretch, we're still in 6th place, but the gap to the top 5 has widened to 4 points, and the gap to Champions League qualification is now 10 points, with only 4 matches left to play. We must accept that another year of Europa League or Conference League is likely. In the Europa League semifinals, things don't go much better. We face Red Bull Salzburg, and in the first leg in Austria, we have no answers to their explosive attack. We lose 2-0, and to make matters worse, our beloved Pedro Lima suffers a serious injury, meaning that alongside Koni de Winter, Lima will also miss the rest of the season. The return leg at home doesn't go much better, and we quickly find ourselves 2 down again. Our Europa League journey ends against Red Bull Salzburg, who eventually go on to win the tournament. With 1 match remaining, a home game against Athletic Club Champions League qualification is no longer possible. However, we are level on points with Villarreal, but with a worse goal difference. We need to win to secure Europa League football next season, but we also depend on Villarreal's result in their final game. This last match also marks the farewell of our beloved Mfulu, who has been a stalwart for us over 4 seasons. We want to give him a fitting send-off, and we do just that. Athletic Bilbao are no match for us. After just 15 minutes, Suslov puts us ahead, Yildiz makes it 2-0, and shortly after Domina scores the 3rd goal assisted by Suslov. But we're not done yet. Right after kickoff, Bilbao makes another mistake, leaving their defense wide open, and Domina makes it 4-0, scoring his 2nd of the match. In the final moments, youth players De Vries and Lopez combine to make it 5-0. After the game, we get some good news. Villarreal draws in their last match, and so we finish 5th, securing Europa League football for Deportivo for another year. With an excellent squad and a budget of over 90 million, we are going all in for the La Liga title in the 5th and final season. How this unfolds you'll see in the next video. Thanks for watching.